Did you know that skipping breakfast is one of the biggest mistakes you can make if you trying to lose weight? Why would this be the case? Shouldn't we just be eating less in general? Well, let me explain why you should never skip breakfast, and how it can actually help you eat less throughout the rest of the day. This is backed up by science. So let's get into it. Now, when we think about eating, we typically categorize them into 3 meals: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But if we look at what the data says, most people actually have around 6 meals per day. But they just not aware of it because some are healthy meals and others are so much. For example, if you drink a cup of coffee with 2 sugars in the morning, or maybe grab a soda at lunch and maybe some snacks in between meals, those all count as meals too. These types of foods are referred to as discretionary foods. They're often high in calories, low in nutrients, and they usually do unfill us up for the amount of calories that we getting. And the problem with these 6 meals is that 4 of them are unfilling us up and they adding excess calories while only 2 of them are And if we add up those extra calories from the 4 non-filling meals over the course of a week, it can easily add up to hundreds of extra calories, which can lead to weight gain. And so the solution isn't to simply reduce the number of times that we eat per day down to 3 meals, but instead to replace those for discretionary or junk food meals with whole nutritious foods, so that all 6 of our meals are filling and satisfying. So how does breakfast fit into all of this? Why should we never skip it? To understand that, let's take a look at a study that was published in the Journal of the American College of Nutrition. It found that those who ate breakfast had lower overall energy intake than those who skipped breakfast. Now, in this study, they wanted to see if there was a difference in how much people ate throughout the day, depending on whether or not they ate breakfast. So what they did is they had one group fast all day until 8 p.m. and then they gave them a big meal at 8 p.m. the next day. The other group ate a normal breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Then, after collecting data for several weeks, they found that the group that fasted all day and ate one big meal ended up consuming more calories than those who ate breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But why does this happen? If we eat all of our calories in one sitting, shouldn't our body just burn it off faster, since technically it's the same thing? Well, there are 2 reasons why this happens. First, the way that our metabolism works, specifically something called the thermic effect of food. This refers to the amount of calories that we burn processing food. Interestingly, protein requires the most energy to digest. That's why the thermic effect of a meal that's high in protein is higher than compared to carbohydrates or fats. On average, our bodies can burn about 25% of the calories from a protein meal, 10% from a fat meal, and about 10% from a carb meal. This is why, if you were to compare a 300-calorie protein shake to a 300-calorie bag of chips, you'd burn about 75 calories digesting the protein shake, whereas you'd only burn about 30 calories digesting the bag of chips. The second reason is that if we eat too much food in one sitting, our bodies will store the excess energy as fat. However, if we spread out our meals evenly throughout the day, our bodies won't feel the need to store excess fat, since we'll be using it right away. In fact, research has found that eating more frequent meals may even increase the number of calories that we burn. This is because every time we eat, our metabolic rate goes up, since our body has to work harder to digest that food. Okay, so that's the first reason why breakfast is important. It helps us control the number of calories that we eat throughout the rest of the day, since it kickstarts our metabolism. But there's an even bigger benefit. A study published in the British Journal of Nutrition took this a step further by comparing 2 groups of overweight men. One group ate a high-protein breakfast, while the other ate a low-protein breakfast, and they found that after 8 weeks, the group who ate a higher protein breakfast lost significantly more weight than the group who ate a lower protein breakfast. In fact, when the researchers compared all the different breakfasts that were eaten across both groups, they found that the ones that were higher in protein led to an average loss of about 14 pounds, whereas the lower protein breakfasts only led to an average loss of about 8 pounds. But again, why does this happen? Why does eating a higher protein breakfast lead to more weight loss than eating a lower protein breakfast? Well, let me explain. You see, when we eat protein, it triggers something called the mTOR pathway. This is a cellular process that regulates growth and metabolism. When the mTOR pathway is activated, it stimulates the production of new cells and tissues, which in turn increases our metabolic rate. On the other hand, when we eat a lot of carbs, it activates another cellular process called AMPK, as associated with the storage of fat and the slowing down of metabolism. In fact, one of the ways that intermittent fasting leads to weight loss is by activating AMPK. This is because, when we fast, our bodies start to run out of glycogen, which is stored carbohydrates. As our glycogen levels drop, this activates AMPK, which then signals our body to start burning fat for energy. So, if we want to lose weight, we want to activate mTOR and suppress AMPK. And one of the best ways to do that is to eat more protein. This is also why it is important that the first meal of the day contains a good amount of protein. If we start our days off with sugary breakfast cereals, bagels, waffles, or pancakes, etc., those are going to stimulate AMPK and lead to fat gain. This is especially true if those meals are followed by more carb-heavy meals later in the day. So it's important to break the cycle by starting your day with a protein-rich breakfast. But what exactly constitutes a good amount of protein? Well, generally speaking, you want to aim for about 20 to 30 grams of protein per meal. So a good breakfast could be something like 3 whole eggs, a Greek yogurt with berries, smoked salmon with avocado, or a tofu scramble. And just like I mentioned before, these types of breakfasts are not only going to keep you full, but they're also going to set you up for success for the rest of the day. This is because studies have shown that those who eat a good breakfast are less likely to snack mindlessly later in the day. They also tend to make better food choices, eat slower, and have better blood sugar control. All of these factors can contribute to weight loss. So it's clear that eating breakfast is important. But what if we flip the script and look at it the other way round? What if I told you that you could burn even more fat without working out any harder, simply by waiting longer in between your meals? Sound too good to be true? Well, check out this video right here, where I explain exactly how intermittent fasting can accelerate your fat loss results. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.